There is a kind of quiet that comes after you stop pretending. You sat down to pray the way you used to, the way you were taught, and you opened your mouth. And nothing came. Not the words, not the feeling under the words, not even the old reflex of reaching for them. Just air and a ceiling, and the sound of your own breathing in a room that didn't answer. And something in you decided right there that the silence was a verdict. That if you had any faith left, you'd have something to say. So you closed your mouth, and you called it failure. Romans 8:26. The Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit Himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. We do not know. Paul is not describing a crisis to fix. He is describing the normal human condition. The man who wrote half the New Testament sat down to pray and didn't always know what to say. Your inability to find the words right now is not a lack of faith. It is an excess of honesty. You are simply too exhausted to perform a prayer you do not actually feel. And the text says, that is exactly where the Spirit begins. Read it again. The Spirit Himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. Not through eloquent ones, not through the prayer you finally got right after enough practice. Through groans. The sound a body makes when the thing it carries is heavier than its language. The Spirit does not wait at the far end of the right words. He does not arrive when your prayer is finished. He arrives where it falls apart. That heavy, exhausted breath you let out staring at the windshield. The tightness in your jaw. The tear that didn't even fall. It just sat behind your eyes because you were too tired to cry it. You thought that was the end of the prayer. Heaven heard it as intercession. So the silence you sat in, the empty room, the ceiling, the breath with nothing behind it. You thought you were alone in it. You were not. Something was already praying in that room. Underneath the quiet, lower than words go. He's not waiting for the sentence. He's already inside the groan. So just stay in the room. Let the exhaustion be the prayer. Let the empty hands be the offering. God, we have nothing to say. We do not know what to ask for. We do not have the energy to explain the ache. But we are sitting here with empty hands and a quiet mouth. Thank you for not requiring a speech. Thank you for the Spirit who is praying for us right now, in the exact places we have gone numb. We are not hiding the silence anymore. We are giving it to you. The silence was never empty. It was the one room we finally stopped performing in long enough for you to be heard. You don't need better words. You never did. And apparently, that is enough. Amen. If you found rest in the quiet today, subscribe to Gardener's Call.